Hello, you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. I am so sorry I'm late, but I was trying to pull up the app getting out and it's not working. So I had to go back through a bunch of old messages to find screenshots of some messages that I wanted to show you guys. So that is why I'm late. I do apologize, but thank you guys for being here. I'm excited to talk to you and go through some of this with you, see what you think, kind of fill you in on all the details. Hey, Double M. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Bendy. Sorry, I've been MIA. I hope everything's okay. Hey, Adrian. Hey, Hippie Chick. Hey, Neat. Hey, Tony. Hey, Bogart. Natasha. Teacup. Hey, Nancy Grape. Hey, Skyflash Media. Hi, guys. I rewatched Letecia's interviews, both of them. I'm still convinced her plan was to get Jim, Jeb, John in a room alone and make something inappropriate happen, accuse him of something. Would not be surprised with Letecia, truly. Hey, Kimberly. Hey, Petunia. Pointer Lover. Now I've already forgot who I've said hello to. Hey, Mick Not Mac. Kathy. Hey, Lil Red. Good to see you guys. Hey, Cherokee Girl. Hey, Corey. Hey, Gammy, Mally. Thank you guys for being here. Hey, Crafty Chris. Hey, Get Me a Snack, Music City. All you guys. Okay, so I've set up a way that I'm going to walk you through to some of what's going on here. But I think we're going to start here. Now, I'm going to introduce you tonight to a woman named Barbara Frantz. And look, Barbara Frantz has not killed a child. So she's not the same kind of person as Letecia as far as what she's been accused of. We're going to get into all of that too. But she is a friend of Letecia's. She spoke highly of her, but she was trying to be on this lawsuit against the jail. She then went on to do her own lawsuit, which you guys are going to see what she had to say about Letecia's help with that and what she had to say about the water bottles they weren't given and all the different things we've been talking about that Letecia has claimed about the prison. I'm also going to show you what she did. We're just going to walk through a whole bunch of stuff, but this is our starting point. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for listening to me. Hopefully I can make some sense of this for you and it's not all over the place, but it is my channel. So don't be surprised if it is. No. But okay. So we're going to start here. Why a federal judge won't let Topeka prisoners merge lawsuits into class action. This came out August of this year, August the 1st. A federal judge refused Tuesday to allow lawsuits filed by 6 Topeka Correctional Facility inmates who are each serving as their own attorney to become a class action suit. Now, I want to explain the way I kind of fell into this was I wanted to know the truth of the situation. We had seen other lawsuits against the prison. We'd seen all of Letecia's claims. We know how she is, right? But I had wondered, is there possibly some truth to some of this? And who can I try to make contact with to try to investigate a little bit, which I'm still doing. There is so much more than what we're going to be able to fit into today's live. And there will be a follow-up. But that's kind of how we got this started. Oh, Mayla's mom, thank you. And hey, by the way, beautifully chaotic. Hey, thanks for joining, Ellie. I appreciate that. I hope I said that correctly. Thank you for joining. Okay, so the 6 sought last June to combine their suits into one class action suit. Some of this is going to sound very familiar, alleging that the Kansas Secretary of Corrections, Jeff Zmuda, and TCF Warden Donna Hook have shown deliberate indifference to their safety and health by exposing them to fungus, toxins, sewer gas, and mold without adequate ventilation. Handwritten lawsuits filed by inmates Cora Lyles, Kimberly Younger, Barbara Frantz, Michaela Spencer, Sharon Huddleston, and Jennifer Lockett also allege the state and its food provider, Aramark Food Service, have shown deliberate indifference to their health and safety by serving them food that causes personal injury. You guys will see, like I said, exactly what Barbara claims is going on. Not everything, because she has sent me so much information, different places to get affidavits. She really Didn't mind. She asked me, what do you even want? And I said, I'm just after the truth. I want to know what is going on in that jail. And she said, she started sending me places to get records and just all kinds of stuff. So there's no possible way to go through it all today, but you guys will get to see some of it today. So the inmates asked that their complaints be certified as a class action lawsuit. Now, we've talked about this with Jen and you guys quite a lot. Class action suits allow for the claims of all class members, whether they know they have been damaged or not, to be resolved in a single proceeding through the efforts of the named plaintiffs or their legal counsel. In refusing to allow the suits to become a class action suit, the district judge, John Lundstrom, cited a 2014 court decision asserting a court may not certify a class action unless it determines the representative parties will fairly and adequately represent the interest of the class. That includes taking into account the quality and experience of the attorneys who represent that class, which we know they're representing themselves. Letecia is the attorney. You guys will see that in a moment. So Lundstrom dismissed the class action suit that the six sought to pursue together as being duplicative of suits that each of them had filed on their own. What else did the judge say? Lundstrom's order noted that the six had earlier sought to join a lawsuit filed February 16th by Topeka Correctional Facility inmate Letecia Stauch against defendants who included Zmuda. I'm going to go inside so you guys don't have to hear the rain because it might be distracting. May sound good. Maybe I should stay. I don't know, but just in case. Hey, Riley. Okay, so we've been following this lawsuit very closely, and we're going to continue because it's not done yet, huh, buddy? But hold on, you guys. Okay, sorry. And we're going to continue. It's raining there too, Bogart. I'm sorry, you guys. The doggy is just, I couldn't keep him in the cage. I put him in there when I went outside and he just whimpered. So I had to let him out. So I do apologize. But okay, so these six wanted to join the lawsuit Letecia filed. They're very similar, okay? Lundstrom denied that request earlier this year, concluding any decision on the matters involved would have been premature at the time because a Martinez report ordered in the Stauch case had not yet been completed. We know that we've seen that now, right? It has been done. Okay. We've seen the Martinez report. Lyles, France, Spencer, Huddleston, and Stauch are all serving time for first-degree murder. Younger is serving time for capital murder. Lockett is serving time for forgery, theft, drug crimes, and an offender registration violation. 1 second, you guys. Hold on, just 1 second. Okay. Now that you know she was trying to join the lawsuit with Letecia, and we have that, we can come over here to her lawsuit, okay? Remember, the article said they had all individually filed these suits, but they were trying to join together as well. So here is part of her lawsuit. It's done. Her lawsuit is done now. Now, you know, I'm not saying that some of these claims couldn't come up again or something like that, but for now, it's been dismissed. For some reason, it's not. I have to download the whole thing, but we weren't going to read through it anyways. So now I want to show you who Barbara is, and then I'm going to show you what she said about Letecia and the jail. But first, we have to go all the way back to 2017 and find out why she's in jail. So, man's death leaves hearts heavy in Leavenworth as estranged wife stands accused of murder. Leavenworth police are investigating a domestic violence incident that left 54-year-old Gary Frantz dead. Some people in Leavenworth say they were shocked to learn of his death. The community calls it a great loss. While they wait for more to be released about what led up to the deadly shooting, they're remembering Gary as kind and dedicated. They said they didn't know much about his personal life, but that he brought something special to the VFW post through his volunteer work. Monday night, ahead of what might normally be a jovial night of bingo play, a bit of somber mood hit the VFW hall in Leavenworth. It was sinking in for folks that their auxiliary member, Gary Frantz, will no longer be able to help out with events like this. The commander, Steve Davis, said anything we needed from him down here at the post, you'd find him helping out in the kitchen or coming to assist with bingo or any events that we had. It appears helping out is one of the last things he did before he died. Davis said Frantz was volunteering for an event at the post on Friday night. He left around 8:30, and about 30 minutes later, they found Frantz dying from gunshot wounds about 5 blocks away. His estranged wife, Barbara, has been charged with first-degree murder in his death. Now, I can't remember if this is going to come out in this article or any that we're going to see because I've read quite a few. But I do know that he said that she did this when he was found before he passed away. Oh my gosh! Thank you, Tess, for reminding me. Happy birthday to B Crumbs. I thought I saved that in my calendar, and my phone did not alert me, and I know I did. Happy birthday, B Crumbs. She's going to be so mad. Thank you, Tess. Happy birthday to B Crumbs. I love you and appreciate you so much. I really do. Thank you for everything, and happy birthday. I hope you have the best day. I cannot believe that because I definitely saved it in my calendar the other day when she told me. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Tess. Thank you so much. We're going to have to play a little something special for her at the end. But his estranged wife, Barbara, was charged with a first-degree murder in his death. Police say she had been living in Kansas City, Kansas, and made her way to Leavenworth to carry out the shooting. However, she was picked up in Burlingame, Kansas the next day. We believe there was some family that's there, and that's how she ended up there. The deadly incident is being called domestic violence. However, police can't say who had been the aggressor during this estranged couple's marriage. Those details are part of the investigation and may come out during a trial. Certainly, we have a lot of work to do in terms of what happened prior to the event. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, this is from the chief. Barbara claims she didn't do this. She actually claims her son did this. Okay. And it's all very interesting, but we're not going to go too super deep into that at this moment. But we're going to move forward a little bit to 2020. Here I am looking for my phone because my damn alarm didn't go off. I put it in my calendar for like 9 a.m. Maybe it went off when I went back to sleep. I'm so mad about that. Sorry. But I did not want to miss that. Yeah, so again, happy birthday to B Crumbs. I hope you've had the best day. Okay, so now we're going to go to July of 2020. Hey, Iffy. Hey, you guys coming in. So in July of 2020, this article came out. Woman, she was sentenced to life in prison for murdering her estranged husband. A KCK woman will likely spend the rest of her life behind bars after killing her estranged husband. Barbara was sentenced to life in prison Tuesday for the murder of her husband, Gary. She will be eligible for parole, though, after serving 25 years. Gary was found seriously injured in a parking lot. Police said he was shot 6 times but was still breathing when officers found him. According to prosecutors, officers asked him who shot him. He said it was his wife, Barbara. Barbara was not at the scene when officers arrived. Gary Grants was taken to a nearby hospital where he later passed away. Police released information to surrounding law enforcement agencies as they searched for Barbara overnight, and then she was apprehended in Burlingame, Kansas. We've waited a long time to have this case sentenced, the prosecuting attorney said in a news release. We are happy to see her sentence, especially to give some resolution to Gary's family through such a terrible tragedy. Okay, so now we have to go to January of 2023. So 2017, this happened, sentence in 2020, 2023, I found this article. Unlike Kathy, unlike Pointer Lover too, who has a ton of birthdays. Oh, beat crumbs. I hope you've had the best day. You deserve it. Hey, Rona. It is brutal. I mean, he told police it was her before he took his last breaths. Yet she said it was her son. This is something we could go deeper into. There's issues about what they allowed at trial with asking her the cross-examination of her son and things like that. Maybe we will hear about that here. Let's see. So Kansas Supreme Court upholds the life sentence for the woman convicted of her husband's murder. The Kansas Supreme Court upheld the life sentence of a Kansas City woman convicted of the 2017 murder of her estranged husband, the Leavenworth County Attorney's Office announced Wednesday. Barbara was sentenced in 2020 to serve at least 25 years before being eligible for parole. January 27th, her husband was found after being shot 6 times. He was still breathing, told officers that she did it. Police found shell casings in Barbara's apartment that matched ones found at the scene. She attempted to blame the murder on her 23-year-old son, but a jury convicted her in July of 2018. Barbara appealed the decision, arguing the court wrongly limited cross-examination of her son and erred when considering her request to have the case dismissed after the state presented evidence to the jury. She also said there wasn't enough evidence to find her guilty. The Kansas Supreme Court upheld the decision of the lower court. From review of the opinion, the court agreed that there were not errors made by the court, and Mrs. Frantz was given a constitutional and sufficient opportunity to cross-examine her son. Further, there was sufficient enough evidence to prove the case. From Todd Thompson, who's the Leavenworth County attorney. He said witnesses saw Barbara leaving the scene in her car and recognized her in the same car later that night. So, that's the story behind Barbara, okay? Now, like I said, when I saw all these lawsuits were happening, I saw all these other inmates, I attempted to ask Barbara myself kind of what is going on in the jail? What is actually going on? And now I want to show you some of what she said. The Getting Out app would not load. That's why I was late for the live. I was trying to get it, like, to pull it up from start to finish. There's honestly too much to go through that way. But I was able to find some screenshots that I had sent to some friends that we'll go through. And I'll show you what she had to say about Letecia, the jail, and the civil suits, the conditions of the jail. But first, let me check out some of your comments first, because Kathy piqued my interest. Mom's in here. Even if your child did the shooting, would you bring him or her up as a suspect? No. Actually, I would try to, if my kid ever committed a crime like that, privately, I would always try to encourage them to do the right thing, be honest, hold themselves accountable. Now, as far as publicly or being part of like an investigation regarding a crime they committed, I don't know. You know, we don't really know unless we've been there. I cannot imagine being in those shoes. But yeah, she said that it was her son, 23 years old, right? He has his whole life ahead of him. Natasha says, depends on the situation, I guess. Angela, hell no. Now, if your child committed a crime, if your child murdered your husband, would you do life in prison for them? No, I do have children, but I I truly want my children to always do the right thing and be honest and hold themselves accountable, no matter what they do, because making excuses, lying for them, covering it up is not going to help them ever. That's just the way it is, in my opinion, and the way I see things. So. No wonder her and Tisha get along, Heather says. Oh my, Barb signed up to be Letecia's friend. Sounds like Letecia's type. Depends on why they shot their dad, Nicole says. Thank you, Natasha. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys. Only if I was dying. Hey, Booger Bear. No, by taking the blame for them teaches them nothing. That's what I think. I just, even though I would be so devastated and heartbroken, I never want to teach them to lie, to cover up what they've done, ever, even if they're adults. That goes against every way that I believe that you should be parenting. So, goes against all of it for me. Okay. Now, hey, Toe Beans. We're going to get into what Barbara had to say. So it's hard because, like I said, I can't get the app to load. I think there's just too many and it won't load. So I think that we're going to look at them in order, but these are just screenshots that I had sent at the time. There are also some in my Patreon I can pull up if I wanted to, or you guys wanted to. But let's look here. We're going to start with this. I felt that with Miss Stauch being brought to this facility was a blessing due to I cannot do this on my own. The other women are afraid of retaliation and have no idea where to start due to the facility's oppression towards women. Men's facilities having numerous jailhouse lawyers and their large numbers and willingness to stand up to KDOC for better prison conditions. The men's prisons are taken more seriously. Kind of sounds similar to what Letecia said, right? Again, I was a one-time business owner, and I am in disbelief of who human beings are treated so inhumane. A lot of staff have left the facility, which has worked here for years. This is no exaggeration what I'm reporting to you. Cold, hard facts. The facility does not want this exposed, what Miss Stauch and I have filed with the prison conditions. So we're about to continue, but just want to check you guys in. Ooh, Natasha, I love this. Natasha says, I misheard her the first time, but even still, it would depend on the situation. I see most things as gray instead of black and white, if that makes sense. It makes perfect sense. And I love that. And I'm not convinced. Yeah, Letecia is. I hope that I have the message in here, what she said about her being the jailhouse attorney. Let's see. I have photos of my face disfigured and sworn witness statements, which is circumstantial evidence that is actionable under deliberate indifference. I am awaiting a response from the U.S. Court of Appeals. The facility is going to kill me if someone doesn't intervene or I'm acquitted soon. The facility is not used to residents standing up to them. I hope this helps you in your search for the truth. The truth. I don't know if I got it, but at one point she said, Letecia is the in-house civil suit attorney for the women. She's helping all these women with their suits. That is why they all sound so similar too, most likely, right? If she's the one helping them. Okay. The truth, there is, I think it's supposed to be feces, in my toilet daily, numerous times a day, which comes from my neighboring cell, not the pit as the facility states. I am in IMAX room 129 currently. I have been in room 126 and 128, which also has neighboring cell backing up their feces from their toilet into my toilet. I have been maliciously housed in IMAX housing over 3 years. I am breathing in my neighbor's feces for hours if I'm not awake to get up and flush the toilet. The facility never cleans our air ducts. There is mold smells throughout IJ compounds regularly, especially worse after rains. The day we were given water bottles in the afternoon, which we've heard about this in the lawsuit so much, in Letecia's lawsuit, she said, I had been having diarrhea all that morning. I couldn't understand why until we were provided water bottles and told not to drink the water from our sinks. There were no signs posted. The next day, there were signs on the water fountain stating not to drink the water. But to be clear, no signs were posted, and the facility allowed residents to drink contaminated water for hours before disclosing to residents there was a boil order on water. I am very physically ill, my face disfigured from skull swelling, and the facility contaminations is most certainly allowing me to become sicker, knowing also I'm full of tumors from the gross deprivation of medical care. This facility's buildings are becoming dilapidated from refusing to properly maintain them. Oh, sorry about that, you guys. The air temperatures are cold, 65 degrees on a regular. When it's 100 degrees outside, residents are wearing winter clothing to stay warm. It's like being in a dungeon house in kennels for almost 20 hours a day in most cases. Inhumane conditions. There's uncooked food served to residents regularly and occasionally rotten food. The food in the majority time served cold when these foods should be warm, at least. Mostly cold the majority of the time for hot foods. I can understand you're wanting the truth. Miss Stauch, they are punishing her for assisting other residents with civil suits against the facility. So remember, because in the beginning I told, she asked me basically, what do you want? And I said, I just want the truth. I just want to know what is going on in there. And I'm going to tell you a little later. Well, I don't have the messages, so I'll just tell you now, and we may get into this later. At one point, I did say, I do believe that if your claims are serious and you're serious about it, tying them to someone like Letecia, who is a known liar, she is known to be dishonest, it may hurt your case. And because I felt like I had to say that, right? Like, do you understand who you're tying your boat to or whatever? So this is about Letecia. Miss Stauch, they are punishing her for assisting other residents with civil suits against the facility. One being an abusive use of force. The facility then housed Miss Stauch in segregation under a BMP, keeping her from going to the law library to assist with helping residents how to wish to have her assistance as a civil jailhouse lawyer. So I think it's supposed to say, keeping her from going to the law library to assist with helping other residents who wish to have her assistance as a civil jailhouse lawyer. I am the criminal law jailhouse lawyer, helping residents with appeals and reduced sentences. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Okay. I am concerned for Miss Stauch, as the facility is punishing her for no reasons other than her own civil prison conditions lawsuit and helping others with theirs. Retaliation is real here at Topeka Correctional Facility for going against the facility to argue for our rights for humane conditions. I have personally had a staff officer state to me 2 years ago that someone needs to do something about this. So that's all the screenshots I had sent to a friend because I had to grab them from there. But I do have a few more, but let me check you guys out for a minute. We all know this is coming shortly with Sarah Boone. Yeah. She would be the last person I would ever trust, Roberta says. You got to remember, these people don't know her like we do. We've spent a long time looking deep into her case, her phone calls, everything, right? So we know the games that she plays. These inmates don't. And we have someone who, I'm sure Letecia's in there acting like she knows exactly what she's talking about, right? She probably has 50% of the lingo down to where they're like, maybe she does know what she's talking about. She needs to get punished for assisting other residents. She needs to get punished for breathing and for being awake, the prize says. Remember how manipulative Letecia is. She means nothing that comes out of her mouth. I agree. So isn't it true that she could be manipulating this person? Riley says, my perspective is not everything you don't like is illegal. Oh, Claus. Diana says, I have no pity for these kind of women. Tess says, can you imagine your future freedom in Letecia's hands? Wowza. No thank you from me. It's pretty crazy. I've heard Lori Daybell is the resident law. No way, Heather. Is that for real? She makes it sound like she's living at a country club. She is not a resident. She is an inmate. Do a video call with her to see if her head's swollen. See, she sends a lot when she messages. A lot. Hold on, you guys. Okay. Sorry, my phone was outside, but I want to pull up some of the other things she said that I had saved on Patreon. Okay. Oh, I included one of the first messages she wrote back to me where she says, nice to meet you too. My concern is, what is your interest and what do you hope to accomplish with the information I provide you? I've been here at TCF wrongfully convicted for over 7 years. I'm in an appeal for an acquittal and my medical conditions are life-threatening from permanent injury from being deprived medical care by concealment. I am terrified for my life here at TCF. I am a whistleblower. From my pre-arrest, whistleblowing on KU Hospital and numerous medical practitioners. So here's my thing. If this is true, it should be exposed. You know what I mean? And Letecia is a known liar. I don't know this woman from Adam. None of us do. But I do feel like it's right to put out what she says. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but just in case it is, it should be talked about. And, I don't really know how you get to the truth of these situations. Let me know what you guys think about that. Riley says, I'm morally fine with chalking this up to 95% fiction and 5% possible fact. But how do you get the truth? You know what I mean? Because would you ask other inmates who aren't tied to these folks? And how would you even know if they would tell you the truth? Wouldn't everybody have a reason to lie? I don't know. I'm curious what y'all think about that. She said, you asked specifically on my experience here at Topeka Correctional Facility. I am a one-time business owner, Michael's 24/7 home care. I am shocked with disbelief to see such deprivation of medical care as with lacking of services with this facility. Women are oppressed from being services for a large number of areas, especially the I-J compound. I've not been to the Central compound. I only hear it having much more available to those at Central, but still lacking on a whole compared to other state prison facilities. The state of Kansas and TCF Centurion have a pattern of being allowed to deprive medical diagnosis to residents until we fall out and drop dead. Centurion has a practice of fabricating documents and documentation which the prison residents are not allowed to see the system from viewing our medical records and chart. This deprives residents from challenging inaccuracies, which is common practice with Centurion. Now, I will say this. I have heard for a long, long time that healthcare in jail and prison is bad, that it's really hard to, if you're sick, to even get the right medicine. In prison, you have to be near death to go to the hospital. Letecia assaulted an officer trying to escape. She then tried again. Or it's prison, yeah. Fact, there are some terrible conditions. Fact, Letecia is a known liar. Let them prove their claims. Hey, Rando. This is a perfect example of how people like Letecia ruin things for people fighting for true justice. You're right. Because here's the thing. If it's true, yes, but how do you trust their word? Any of them. There are a lot of people in prison who haven't committed murder. You know, we have Letecia. She's the worst of the worst. Look what she's done. But, you know, Barbara was in a domestic, you know, a violent relationship. And we don't know the ins and outs of that. And then you also have people who haven't killed anyone, right? People who have just not paid their taxes or other things like that. So I don't really like the whole screw it. It is what it is. Like when we're talking about child murderers, yes, but a lot of people in prison are not that. And I've had loved ones that have went to prison for nonviolent crimes, even drugs, which is a sickness. There are people in prison because of a sickness they have. Now, they commit crimes to keep their addiction up and stuff, so they should be there. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, like, not everybody's the same. Riley says, I think their accusations should be investigated by an uninvolved party, but I am not the fact finder to substantiate their claims. I feel very good about myself relying on instinct that they're lying. Will that ever happen? Probably not, to be honest. Just have to say, like, I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith that anyone will actually look into it unbiasedly. That can. Some people just made one foolish decision, drinking and driving, tax evasion. Yeah, before it was illegal marijuana. Yeah. Okay, let me see what else she says. The facility is extremely deficient, and it's so intentional by extreme deliberate indifference and abuse of discretion on the part of prison officials. Deprivation in many aspects that I can't understand how this facility has been allowed to operate in this manner for so long. Women die from deprivation of medical care by concealment to deprive diagnosis. Now, here's the thing. There are a lot of lawsuits against this prison. I don't think it's the best one there is, to be honest, okay? Letecia didn't want to be in Colorado anymore, so this is what she got. She says, in my investigating, which I'm constantly working to obtain documents, it's about connecting the dots, showing the affiliation to one another. What I'm exposing is a clear RICO violation. The state of Kansas is trying to ensure what I've uncovered doesn't become exposed. Here at TCF, I'm subjected to max housing, and I'm not max custody. The facility keeping me housed with the most violent and aggressive residents, and I'm neither violent nor aggressive. I have been told I can be quite intimidating, meaning I know just what I'm exposing and whom I'm exposing. And when I have the documents showing what I've been saying, nobody can persuade me in any way to think differently. She says there are some good staff, but don't challenge the supervisors nor the administration. We are currently severely understaffed. There are many whom quit due to the abuse of residents and are not willing to become involved in such maltreatment of residents, such as myself included, suffering such deprivation and so visible, being able to see my being visibly ill state and worsening right in the presence of staff with no regard for my life, and this being extremely criminal. Let me see if there was anything else. I understand you're wanting the truth. She says, this is big. The medical auditors here in were here in June of this year. My counselor stated they heard it was all bad. I'm telling you, my medical conditions being concealed, and they are extremely life-threatening. She also says she suffered 2 violent attacks by a male staffer, suffered severe injuries. I recorded these 3 aggravated battery kidnappings on my phone. My family has the recordings, and they are backed up on numerous online accounts. The recordings of these attacks begins while I was still in the ER department, and as I go through the admissions process while I'm recording, which should show no doubt I was at something hospital. I have hours of recording of me speaking with a patient. And then she goes into this, which I didn't ask anything about her case, and it doesn't really make sense. But she starts her message, 9/12/24. My husband and son were fighting. The record shows this. What I don't really know, but Patrick's profound hatred, which he stopped calling by dad. Everything was calling his dad by his first name and stating that Gary wasn't his dad. I hadn't lived with either Gary or Patrick for a year. I left Gary in early 2016. So she's still hanging on to her case and what's happening there. The simple fact is that this facility is disturbing, and they use the fact residents that lie not to be believed. Because remember, I told you guys that this was after I had told her, you're tying yourself to someone who's known to be dishonest. Which she told me, thank you for being honest about that. And the simple fact is the facility uses people that lie to make it look like everybody lies. So anyway, there's a lot more where that came from. I can't get the messages to load. I don't know. Maybe I'll put out everything she said in one video. And if there is anyone ever that sees it that cares to look for the truth, they can or not. But at the end of the day, it gives us a little bit of an idea of what could possibly be going on at this prison, which Letecia obviously wants out of. Let's not forget, her latest filings are all about how she's being held illegally, the interstate compact, whatever, against them. I think she wants to be sent back to Colorado. I wish she would. Everyone there knows exactly what she's done, and they released their phone calls. But yeah, let me see what you guys think. Prison isn't supposed to be all about rainbows and butterflies. I agree, Mally. It's not. However, there shouldn't be officers attacking people, and it's known. This is something, nationwide, our jails and prisons, the healthcare is just not the best. Is that something that there are some places like Sweden and other countries where their prisons are very nice. They treat their inmates really good, especially when they're going to be back out in society one day. They want them to become better versions of themselves and be able to contribute to society in a meaningful way. And they think that having better conditions, kind of leads people down that path. But I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I wanted to kind of show you who it is, what she's there for, what she says about the prison and Letecia, and leave it up to you guys to feel how you feel. It doesn't matter to me either way. I just appreciate you, you guys being here to talk about it with me. Oh, Claus, that's awesome. 14 months sober today. That's awesome. Congratulations. But it's Prisonland. Why didn't they file a formal complaint to the prison facility? That's the first step. Why jump into lawsuits? The inmates are listening to the wrong damn person. Well, they are listening to Letecia, Tying yourself to her is probably the worst thing you could do. I don't know, Iffy. I've never went into that. if they're aware about what she did to Gannon exactly. You know, she repeated that straight back to Tisha. That's all right, you know, maybe. Prison isn't supposed to be all about rainbows and butterflies. She has video proof. She can use that as evidence in a court case, right? At least Letecia is alive. Gannon is not. Letecia needs to be grateful she is breathing with what she did. We have no reason to accommodate people who choose to break the law and are dumb enough to get caught. Well, you know, like I said about jails in Sweden. Let me see if I can pull something out. There is something to this, I think, right? Like how you treat inmates, is that going to determine how they are when they leave? I don't know. Norway, inside the nation's humane prison system. Let's see what this is. I don't want to hear that or see that. Okay. There are a handful of correctional facilities. Well, actually, yeah, let's just look. It's 2 minutes.
World's most humane. In this vast forest of pine and blueberry is what some call the world's most humane prison, Halden Prison, where new inmates are greeted the way I was, with a handshake.
Nice to meet you.
Wow.
Drug smugglers, murderers, rapists, all doing time in a maximum security prison that feels more like a college campus.
This is home?
Yeah, this is home, yeah.
Karsten was convicted of killing a man in Brazil. This is his cell block with a full kitchen, big screen TV, laundry room.
What? Wait a minute.
That feels more like a college campus.
This is home?
Yeah, this is home, yeah.
Karsten was convicted of killing a man in Brazil. This is his cell block with a full kitchen, big screen TV, laundry room.
You have the key.
What? Hey, crazy mama. No, I didn't, Alana. Wow.
Your own cell.
Yeah, everybody has their own key.
He and the rest of the prisoners are locked in overnight. The rest of the time, they choose when to lock the door to their cozy single bed cells with a TV and a private bathroom.
I used to be in prison in Brazil, and there was a cell just a little bit bigger than this, and there used to be 15 people in the same room.
The point here, to turn criminals into good neighbors.
It felt like we were visiting somebody's house for the first time, and they were excited to show us around.
So this is your room?
This is my room.
Wow, it's big.
Yeah.
Got your
Nike
TV.
shoes, flat
TV,
cigarettes,
DVD,
Yeah.
computer,
computer. Oh, good
closet,
God.
clothes. I have my own sheets, everything, you know.
How's the bed?
Yeah,
Comfortable?
but the bed is comfortable. Sit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a college dorm.
Except it's not. This is a minimum security prison in Norway
Wow.
called
Look at
Bolstol,
that.
where Dardan is serving a 1-year sentence for drug trafficking.
I have my washing machine, my dryer, and I have my shower. Brand new.
Brand new.
Boom.
So
Look
these
at
are
it.
heated floors.
These are heated floors.
Wow.
You don't see that in most prisons.
Oh, I know.
Hell, in most houses. I don't have heated floors. Some of you guys might, but damn. Let me see if anything else is in the article about this. In some prisons, okay, there are a handful of correctional facilities across the globe where murderers and rapists live in prisons likened to boutique hotels and holiday resorts. In some prisons, comfort, prisoner well-being, and rehabilitation are more important than punishment, even if the crimes committed by their residents are grave. By bucking the trend of inhumane conditions seen across the world, some of the countries have been rewarded with plummeting reoffending rates. Inmates at many of these jails have the opportunity to stay in contact with their families on the outside, while one has even allowed relatives to live inside the prison walls in the hopes of keeping familial bonds strong and preventing the trauma of separation. Other facilities have a myriad of activities on offer to rival any adventure holiday, including horseback riding, tennis lessons, and prison-wide dancing performances. The most lax nick of the lot gives prisoners their own cottage along with a patch of farmland to cultivate. Here's a list of the world's 10 most luxurious prisons. We have one in the Philippines. This is a maximum security jail meant for the most hardened Filipino killers and rapists. It houses over 1,500 convicts. The conditions aren't particularly pleasant. Let's see. It is one of the rogue mentions on the list. The conditions aren't particularly pleasant. The reason for its inclusion in the prison's novel approach to rehabilitation, which has offered inmates a number of recreational and creative exercises to keep them occupied. Each inmate is required to participate in singing and dancing numbers, and they have to put on a series of performances for the paying public. So in the Philippines, you will go and pay for these prisoners to be forced to do a dance and a song for you. It is so interesting, Tess. In February of 2023, the so-called dancing inmates were said to be preparing for a return to public viewings after a 2-year break due to COVID. Some of their dances are so popular, they're mobbed for autographs when they finish. Okay, now we have Halden Prison in Norway. I think that's where we were just looking. It's a complex that sits in a sprawling forest, which, let's get rid of that, which has often been compared to a bougie hotel rather than a maximum security prison. Each cell has a flat screen, an en-suite toilet with a door for privacy, and a shower. The prisoners are provided with large fluffy towels, their own fridges, and unbarred windows for an unrestricted view of the stunning forest outside. Outside of the private, comfortable quarters, each wing enjoys a communal recreation room where prisoners watch TV, movies, play video games. There's also a studio for recording music, a state-of-the-art gym, and convicts have the choice to undertake classes to build their skills. Now we have one in Sweden with private cells, comfortable beds, and joining bathrooms, fully equipped gym, an open kitchen, and a simple room where they can kick back and watch TV. Another high-security prison on the list, it earns its place for its trailblazing eco initiatives. So they have a green roof of plants and turf, air recycling ventilation system, whatever. Then we have a prison in Germany. This one has swanky cells, washing machines, and spotless floors are all available to the long-term prisoners serving their sentences. The facility has drawn criticism in the past for its approach to punishment, but the prisoners are grateful for the additional telephone nooks that they can use when speaking to family members. Well, here's the thing, like this article said, it's the reoffending rates. That's why, these countries, they're less likely to reoffend, which is kind of crazy because you'd think they might want to go back. But now we're at one in Switzerland. Let's see. They have attached bathrooms, activities. Says it feels more like a university. Here is a prison in Spain, in Madrid. It's the first of its kind, a prison designed to keep families together. The Nick is said to be the only one in the world with cells specifically for families where toddlers can go to nursery and play while locked up with their murdering and drug trafficking parents. The spacious units, dubbed 5-star cells, come with cribs and Disney characters on the walls. Outside, there's even a prison playground for the kids. The idea is for children to bond with their imprisoned parents while young enough not to fully grasp the reality of incarceration, and for inmates seeking rehabilitation to learn parenting skills. There is a justice center in Austria. It's repeatedly ranked among the world's best prisons and is often compared to a 5-star hotel. It is designed for nonviolent offenders, though. Each prisoner gets their own cell with a bathroom, kitchenette, TV, full-size window. They have an outdoor gym and a spa. Okay, and then we're going to go to the top 3 in the world. And then you have here, like next up, inside Putin's brutal torture prisons. We have New Zealand, the Topeka Correctional Facility. The facility is surrounded by a high security fence, but inside there's plenty of space for prisoners to exercise and mingle. A separate building is used for accommodation with rooms said to be comfortable. But where Topeka really stands out is the approach for rehabilitation, providing convicts with skills they can use on their reliefs. Among the education and on offer are qualifications in carpentry, hospitality, and even engineering. Number 2, Scotland, a prison in Scotland. This one is a learning prison where convicts are urged to address their offending behavior and the circumstances which led to their imprisonment. The learning element of their stay aims to improve their employability prospects. Each week, prisoners are required to complete 40 hours of what it calls purposeful activity. And then number 1 in Norway, it's the Bastøy prison. It's plonked on a deserted island. In 1982, the prison sits in 1 square mile of pine trees with stunning views of the ocean. It houses only a maximum of 100 murderers and rapists who have access to such thrilling activities as horseback riding, fishing, tennis lessons, and sunbathing. Rather than cells, the convicts get cottages to live in with their own farmland to toil. Rather than the pot noodles found in British Nicks, the chef at the Bastøy offers up the likes of fish balls with white sauce with shrimps, as well as everything from chicken con carne to salmon. Despite its minimum security and the horrendous nature of its prisoners' crimes, Bastøy is said to have the lowest reoffending rate in Europe. When interviewed in CNN by 2012, the prison governor said, "If we have created a holiday camp here for criminals, so what? We should reduce the risk of reoffending because if we don't, what's the point of punishment except for leaning towards the primitive side of humanity?" And the numbers speak for themselves. Only 20% of Norwegian convicts reoffended within 2 years of their release, with figures in Bastøy even lower at around 16%. Wow, you guys. That is crazy. The Norwegian prison where inmates are treated like people. Look at them. Look at this. They have a prison ferry where a ferry operative who welcomed the person who wrote the article aboard realized once they got on that the person operating the ferry, or a ferry operative, as they write, was a prisoner doing 14 years for drug smuggling. That is crazy. But what really sets us apart is the Norwegian attitude towards prisoners. I had heard stories about Norway's liberal attitude. Despite the seriousness of their crimes, I found that the loss of liberty was all the punishment they suffered. Cells had televisions, computers, showers, sanitation. Some prisoners were segregated for various reasons, but as the majority served their time, anything up to 21 years maximum sentence, Norway has no death penalty or life sentence. They were offered education. They live in a small pod, blah, blah, blah. I mean, this is just crazy. So I do think it's important to talk about it. I honestly think the United States is probably a little bit behind and more on the primitive side of things when it comes to prisons. And I think there's probably a lot of science to it to get it right. You know, I certainly wouldn't know the answer of the best way to do things, but it's pretty crazy. Only 4 guards remain on the island, the prison island, after 4 p.m. That is crazy. I can see why some people think the conditions are controversial. The common understanding of prison is it's a place of deprivation and penance rather than domestic comfort. What do you guys think? I just can't get over it, but, I don't know. I think it's an important conversation to have. What are the conditions of the prisons and jails in the United States versus all other countries, the good like this and the terrible like Russia and, other third world countries where you can get life in prison for having a little bit of marijuana. I don't know. And you have to think, like I said, not everyone has committed crimes like Letecia's. I think it's probably not a good idea if you want the world to know about the conditions of the prison you're in to partner up with someone who lies like Letecia. I mean, that immediately makes most of us go, really? And your claims are just like hers on the lawsuit. I don't know, you guys. I think it's something that we'll dig into a little further, maybe. I can get all the messages to load and put together like an investigative video I've done of my findings or something like that. But I am curious as how to a comfortable prison would impact someone who has always had to survive. Me too, Teacup. I think it has to do more with safety of guards, honestly, offering all these luxuries. I haven't, Lil Red. I haven't seen them. Hey, Meg. I don't trust our justice system. That's probably just me. No, I don't either. Some of it, sure, but not everyone. And I think there's bad in in all professions. But I do think that there are probably many jails and prisons where people are not being treated humanely here in the United States. Real life isn't like that. Seems unfair for the people who actually follow the law. I would be very interested in hearing from former inmates there who haven't reoffended. When I keep digging for what's happening in Topeka, maybe I'll find some other little tidbits along the way of other prisons where people have been, like the one we just looked at. Some do allow conjugal. Hell, some of those we just looked at allowed their families to live there, their children, with Disney characters painted on the walls and stuff. I mean, crazy. Swedes' aim is rehabilitate, release. USA is punish, separate from society. But then still we release, then they reoffend. That's true, Carol. And here's the thing. I have known of people that have went to prison and or court-ordered rehab that really hadn't been out there committing crimes all that long and stuff, and they were introduced to many bad things in those places, right? I know you guys probably have either known people or heard of the same thing. So, I don't know. There has to be a way to rehabilitate people without treating them like animals. I think that would just taint you in a way where you probably feel have a certain attitude towards society in general. I don't know. I don't know the answer, you guys, but it's really interesting. Well, all I can say is I'm glad Letecia didn't get sent there. It is interesting. All right, you guys. So that's about that. Now I have to go get ready for little baby birthday. So I think that's what I'm going to go do. I appreciate you guys. Is Letecia in a supermax prison? She in a dorm or has a cell only? Okay, so she's allowed out more than an hour a day, but let me show you where she's at just before we go. We've taken a look at this before, but this is where Barbara is at as well. And there's several other people on that lawsuit too. Oh, wait, I have to do something before we go. Hold on. Okay. Let me get out of this. Okay, just one second, you guys. Okay. All right, so here's where Tisha is at. Topeka Correctional Facility in Kansas. I was hoping that I went straight to their government website, which I should have went somewhere else to try to get you more on it. But this is where she's at. But also, I was kind of sidetracked because I want to find this little video and play it for B Crumbs. Okay, are you ready? I'm going to let it play twice because it's just that damn cute.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Oh my gosh, how cute is that? Happy Thursday to you. The comment says, happy Thursday to you too, little miss. Happy Thursday every Thursday. Happy Thursday. Today is Thursday. So happy birthday and happy Thursday to you. Topeka Correctional Facility is a Kansas Department of Corrections state prison for women located in Topeka. Built in the 1970s and 1995, it became the only women's prison in the state. It administers a wide range of security levels from maximum security through work release. The site was founded in 1905 as the Topeka Industrial Institute by the African-American educator Edward Stevens as a school on its own farmland, more or less modeled on the Tuskegee Institute. The school closed in 1955. Conditions in the facility have long been identified as extremely problematic. A series of investigative articles in the Topeka Capital Journal in September 2009 revealed a complex black market of contraband, bribes, and a sex trade, practices that culminated in a prison employee impregnating an inmate. In January of 2010, two independent audits, one by the National Institute of Corrections and another by a committee of the state legislature, recommended 24 operational changes, and the facility's administrator was reassigned elsewhere. In a 2011-2012 investigation by the United States Department of Justice, they found that the problems persisted. The division's September 6, 2012 letter to Kansas Governor Sam Brownback concluded that TCF fails to protect women prisoners from harm due to sexual abuse and misconduct from correctional staff and other prisoners in violation of their constitutional rights. TCF has a history of unabated officer-on-prisoner and prisoner-on-prisoner sexual abuse and misconduct. So, wow, that is very interesting. I don't know, shouldn't be happening. It really shouldn't. As much as we hate Letecia, I'm totally okay to advocate for no, SA in prisons. But anyways, it's something we're going to continue to talk about. Thank you guys for being here and joining the conversation, no matter how you feel. I really do appreciate it and respect your opinion. I do know, I'm pretty sure you did, Nina. I'm pretty sure that Melissa and Jen both have lives tonight. So I'm going to drop both of their links. Please check them out. I saw Amber in here, so I'm going to drop Amber's too. And then yeah, thank you guys for everything. I'll see you soon. We have calls coming soon, so we'll definitely be, getting back together for that. And yeah. Anyways, have a great night. Thank you for everything. Thank you for listening. Don't forget, if you have something else you want to say, maybe I missed your comment because I was doing a lot of reading, leave it down below. Leave me a comment down below. Reach out to me if you need to. It's on the banner. And yeah, I hope you guys have a lovely night. Happy Thursday to you. And happy birthday to you, B Crumbs. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, one more time.
Birthday to you.